Good morning, everyone, or I should say good afternoon to those of you who are on the East Coast like I am. My name is Amy Collins, and I am here on behalf of the Publishing at Sea crew. All right, we're getting a bunch of feedback, and I'm not at all surprised because Mercury is in retrograde. So hold on one second, guys, and then I'm going to absolutely kick in with you guys. Give me 1 second. All right. I hope that is better. Can you, Tammy, and those of you who are on, I see we have a lot of participants in today. We had a gazillion people sign up for this presentation. Wanted to welcome everyone again. Let's start fresh. My name is Amy Collins, and I am here to share with you guys everything I know, or everything I think I know, about how to get noticed on Amazon.com. So before we get started, I wanted to just hit you guys up one more time and make sure that you can see my screen. Should be a blue and white screen that says how to get noticed on Amazon. And can you guys hear me? Am I back and ready to go? Can you guys hear me okay? All right, great. Tammy, once again, always a big help. I appreciate it. For those of you who are curious, and if you can't stay till the end of this presentation, I am recording it and I will make it available on YouTube as a replay as soon as we're done. So thank you everyone for joining me. I am here on behalf of Publishing at Sea. This was a class that I was supposed to teach at sea with Judith Briles and her group. She and the Author U group has put together for the last 5 years a wonderful event every January called Publishing at Sea. And if you're at all curious about joining us there, you can simply go to www.publishingatsea.com, publishingatsea.com. Oh, I see Judith is on the line. So glad she's here. I ask any of you as I get through this presentation on Amazon that if you have questions or anything at all that you need, just please just type it into the chat box. I am here to answer your questions, and I am looking forward to spending some time with you and teaching you a little bit about Amazon.com. So let's start about what we're going to go over today. Make sure that this next hour is actually worth your time. Make sure that you belong here. This is what you wanted to know. First thing we're going to cover is how to make your page look great. I have seen a lot of Amazon pages that need a lot of work. And why I say that is this. An Amazon.com page is your #1 place where you can convince people to buy your book and to buy into you as a best-selling author, or as an expert in your topic if you're a nonfiction author, or one of the best people in your genre if you're fiction. So using all of the tools that we're going to go over today, you're going to be able to have a quick checklist and make sure that you've got everything you need in place to make your page look as good as possible and to be as convincing as possible. We're going to go over some of the tricks on how to make your book easier to find. I have been listening a lot to Adam Hoge. Adam Hoge has been teaching me a lot about how Amazon algorithms work and how ranking, and it changes every couple of months, but he is staying on top of it. And I'm going to pass on to you what I have been learning from him. We're going to talk about how to get more reviews and why. In March of this year, Amazon.com, God, I can't believe that was only a month ago, but in March of this year, Amazon changed the rules again about reviews and what reviews you can and cannot leave and what you can and cannot do. And the rules for books are different than the rules for magazines, are different for rules for, iPhone cords. So we're going to talk about books and how and why you need to know and go get those reviews, but how and why you need to know the rules that Amazon's laying down. We're going to cover Amazon marketing. Marketing programs were made available to small authors and presses like you and me last May. It's been almost a year now. There were 6 or 7 programs that they announced. Some of them have disappeared, mainly because, truthfully, they just weren't doing well. They weren't worth the money. They've pulled them since then. But there's 3 programs that I highly recommend. I strongly recommend that you guys consider. These programs are very inexpensive, and they're a great way to get your book bumped up, especially during your launch period or a relaunch period. And we're going to discuss, using Judith Briles' author page as an example, why and how to improve your author page. We're going to talk about Author Central and all the amazing, powerful tools available to you if you become an author registered with Author Central on Amazon.com. So I hope that this list here is exactly why you guys came here for the next hour. And I hope you're going to hang out with us and you're going to enjoy. But this is the itinerary. This is the synopsis. This is the syllabus, as you will. That's the word I was looking for, the syllabus of what we're going to cover in the next hour and how and why you're going to be able to increase your sales and your findability on Amazon.com. So as I promised, we're going to start with how your page looks, because how your page looks is so important. The first thing, as you know, if you're a follower of Judith's, you've heard this a million times. She's the one who she hammers it home. I'm simply parroting what I've heard from her, but the truth is your cover and how your cover looks is so important. And I'm actually going to add on to that. I won't put words in her mouth, but I will tell you that my experience as a buyer, I was a book buyer for many years, and as a sales rep for large houses, I will tell you that how your book looks is more important than what it says. I wish I could tell you that the quality of your writing is more important than the look of your cover. But if you don't have a top-notch cover, then I am afraid what your book says and how beautifully it's written and how gorgeously it's edited won't matter, because they will never get to see it. So you have to have a beautifully designed cover. On your Amazon page, you need to have the Search Inside feature. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what Search Inside is, we're going to cover that. I'm going to hit that up in a second. I'm going to show you what Search Inside is in a moment, but we're also going to pay attention to your description. It needs to have lots of white space and bullet points. And again, we're about to go live with all of this. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add a page, and we're going to go to my Amazon.com page together. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go take a look at Amazon.com, and we're going to go take a look at a book. I'm going to pick one at random. For those of you who are online right now, do you have a book that you'd recommend, a book you've recently enjoyed reading? I would love to do this live. I don't want to pick a book that I know. Would you be willing to go to the chat box and type in a title of a book for me that you might recommend, that you enjoyed, a book that you think is a good book, any book at all? Sean, sweetie, honey, not your own, a standard book that's been okay. And Mila, again, I really appreciate you guys talking about your own books, but I'm talking about a professionally published book. All right, Death in the English Countryside. I'm not familiar but that's exactly what I was looking for, a book that I was unfamiliar with. So let's go take a look at Death in the English Countryside by Sarah Rossetti. Let's take a look at her paperback. All right, Sarah's got some good covers here. So can you guys see this page that I'm sharing? Do you see Death in the English Countryside here on Amazon? Do you see here? I'm gonna use a little spotlight function. You guys can see this? Yes, you see the Amazon page wonderfully. So when I say it needs a look inside, here is the search inside right here. You click on the search inside. I'm gonna do that again for those of you who are unfamiliar, but you go up to search inside, or it's look inside, my apologies. And this book gives you the opportunity to read a couple of pages. Does your book have the look inside feature? See how easy it is to read these pages? Now you can't pick. Sarah was not able to pick which pages are shared. Amazon decides that. You can go to surprise me and it's going to take her, right into the middle of the book. Okay. You can look at the copyright page. So all of these things can be seen on the look inside feature. You want that on your book. You've got a nice bright cover here. You've got, let's see, one of the things that I would suggest that Sarah's publisher do, this description is not awesome. This description, it's a lot of text, all without breaks. Tea and Crumpets and Murder, it's great text, but it's not formatted right. If it were up to me, I'd be putting a lot more white spaces, of every few sentences. Give the guy a break. And this is your prime real estate to convince somebody to buy your book. I don't see that this particular book has spent a lot of time trying to and maximizing. So we will discover and we will take a look at together the let me go back to the other page. We're going to take a look at together what white spaces should look like. You will see that people who bought Sarah's book also bought. Now, they bought a lot of hers, but they also brought Alice K. Boatwright's book, T.E. Kinney. Apparently, these are all authors with strong followings. And the editorial reviews, there aren't any at the moment. It'd be nice if she had some. Again, about the author. I like what Sarah's got going on here, but this about the author section right here, this is a wonderful space to start talking and putting keywords in. It says right here in About the Author that Publishers Weekly has called Sarah's book satisfying, well executed, and sparkling. Visit www.sarah.rosette to learn more about her sign up for her free ebook. Well, that's great, but there's a lot more you could put in here. Was there a Publisher Weekly review for this book, Death in the English Countryside? If so, it should be here under editorial reviews. These are some of the things that Sarah's done a great job. Look at how many reviews she has. This is wonderful. So thank you, Tammy, for giving me this blind example. This is a solid B. I would say that this Amazon page could definitely get up to A. It has all the components here, but I don't see any video. I don't see a lot of time being spent on the description. I don't see enough keywords, and we're going to go over that now between now and the end of the hour. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So let's see. Can you guys now see the PowerPoint presentation again? Do you guys see the blue screen before I keep going? All right, no PowerPoint yet. Resume share. And we're going to go to the PowerPoint. 1 second. You guys are being very patient as I hop back and forth. All right. And here we go. Now you see the PowerPoint presentation that says new shelves with author bio. All right. Sounds good. All right. So just like you saw with Sarah's, there needs to be an author bio. You need a price competitive book with the page count listed. She had 284 reviews. That's awesome. I don't know who she is, but I'm very impressed by the reviews that she's pulled in for her books. The other thing is she has a professional publisher's name. The name of her book was at this point listed with a publisher that looked extremely professional. If your name is Belinda Gladiator, if that's your name diploma. You decided to write a book under the name Belinda Gladiator. Please do not call your publishing house Gladiator Press or Belinda's Books. You need to have a professionally published book. We've covered this a lot at both at Publishing at Sea. I know Judith has covered this at Author U, and I've covered it as well as I can in my classes. So here's a copy of my book. And we were showing you before how Sarah's book, how the description of her book was packed with text, but it wasn't easy to read. Do you guys see here? I'm going to once again just use a little spotlight here so you can see this little red dot. Follow the bouncing red dot. But do you see how much white space is here? How easy it is to read about my book? That's because we as a people have learned, especially here in the States, we have learned to read and to absorb information on websites and on screens and in magazines. And we're not used to enormous blocks of text. We are I don't mean to say we've gotten lazy, but we've certainly been trained to flow through information much more quickly once there is some white space, a place for the eyes to rest. So I'd recommend that. You will see here that I do have the look inside feature on my book. You will see that my book is available through Amazon Prime. That's something that was important to me. And you will see that the price of my book, $16. Now, Amazon discounted it and still is discounting it. It's at $12.49 according to Amazon. But Amazon made that discount decision and they took that $3.51 off of my book. They took that out of their cut. They still pay me the exact same amount, whether they sell my book for $16 or $11. If they decide to discount it, they take that cut from their own half, not from my half. I hope that makes sense. But you will notice that my book, which is $16, my book's about 180 pages. You will see, yep, there you go. And so my book, which is only $16, is right in line with a number of other books in my subject that are put out by people that I would want to be compared to. People like Jane Friedman, people like Joel Friedlander, of course, Judith and Joan Stewart and a number of other people. But I want to get my book in line, my paperback in line with other paperbacks of my era, because I want the price to be competitive. All right. I also have a biography. If you go to Amazon.com, my biography is really long. I pack it full of keywords. I talk about book sales, book marketing, book buyer, chain of bookstores, sales consultant, book and library retailers, wholesalers, publishing industry. I'm not stuffing it with keywords. All of these things are true. These sentences make sense. Amy and her team have sold over 40 million books into the bookstore, library, and chain store market for small and mid-sized publishers. You'll notice when I go on in my description, I also talk about some personal things so that people who find me in other parts of my life might stumble across me, but making sure that I don't skimp on my biography. Amazon looks everywhere for keywords, and biography is not a place to start skimping. When I took a screenshot of this book, I only had 10 reviews. This was taken quite a while ago. I have far more now. Thank you, everyone, very much for your reviews, especially Lori and those of you who put them on so early. But make sure that you have a lot of reviews. We're going to talk about the magic number in a moment. And then you see here, I talk about visit Amazon's Amy Collins page. This is the Author Central we're going to get into. Here's the reviews. Make sure that you get as many as you can. And now we're going to get into Author Central. Judith, who so graciously hosted most of us on Publishing at Sea, most of us who are here listening right now, allowed me to use her Author Central page as an example. And we're going to talk about how to sign up for Author Central in just a second. But what I want you to do with Author Central is I want you to see what a really good page looks like. Judith, you see right here, see all that white space? She didn't cram all of her text and just flow it through. She's breaking it up, little spots, the little white space to give the eye a break. She's using a lot of keywords in here. USA Book Awards, IPPY Book Award winner. She's talking a lot about the publishing industry. She's talking about her programs. She did some updates here. A lot of her videos are here. You guys can actually put your YouTube videos up on your Author Central account. All of her books are listed. She has dozens of books. They're all listed on her Author Central page. And you will also notice that on her Author Central page, if you hopped on there right now, her also where she's going to be. The last time I looked, she actually had an event that she's speaking at in Las Vegas, if I remember correctly, Judith. You were actually speaking in Las Vegas a week or so ago. Your events can be put on your Author Central page. All of this helps you be found on Google. So before we move on, and I am going to show you guys some stuff right now, I would like to take a moment, and then we're going to go to Author Central, and we're going to look at the Author Central page together. But do you guys have any questions at the moment about anything I've said so far? Does that all make sense to you? All right. All right. If you have any questions, just go to the chat box. It's really easy to find up there on the top of your page and just type in any questions that you have. So we're going to go back to Amazon.com Live, and let's take a look at Sarah Rosette's. Again, I don't know her, but let's take a look at her Author Central page. All right, all of her books are listed here. Isn't that nice? She's a USA Today best-selling author. Look at all this white space. This is beautiful. Here's the list of all the books she has. Customers who bought Sarah Rosette also bought items by. Well, that's kind of cool. I would love to have that. Now, I don't see a lot of video from her, and I don't see her blog listed, but let's take a look at my Amazon author page and just see what the difference is. We'll go to rightway.com, and we'll click on Amy Collins. And here's my Author Central page. Here are some books that I've written, or books that I have participated in. I co-wrote. You will see that I've got author updates here. Here's a video that I updated recently on YouTube. Here's my latest blog post. Well, actually not my latest one. My latest one is posting today. I post blogs every 2 weeks. Again, the list of books. Customers who bought my book also bought books by Judith Briles. There she is right there. John Kramer, there he is. So when I go to John Kramer's page, customers who bought his books probably also bought books by me. John is far more famous than I am. He is, he's someone I'd love to be acquainted with. And Joanna Penn, that's a great name. So let's take a look at John's page. He's got a video here by Jack Canfield, it looks like. His most recent blog post a week ago, his books. This is what I want your author page to look like, guys. I want it to look like this. So I hope that makes sense. And all you need to do to sign up for Author Central, here, let me log out of where I am. I'll sign out, but all you need to do to get to Author Central is you go to Amazon.com/Author Central. You hit enter, give it a second, and there you go. If you already have an Amazon account, like my Amazon login, just so you know, there you go, my personal email's right there. But I can sign in right there. If you're new to Author Central, you hit the Join Now button. And that's how you work it out. And it's very easy to join, very easy to join at that point. All right, so let's go back to the presentation. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope that that if you guys have any questions, I hope you're typing them in the chat box. I'm looking here. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to keep going. All right. How to make your book easier to find. Let's say that your book already exists, put it up on CreateSpace, you've got it up through Amazon Advantage. How to get your book up on Amazon, we already covered on the cruise. We actually went in depth on that. So today is all about getting your book found. So once you've got your book up on Amazon, how do you make it more easy to find? I want to remind you what I have said, that ranking does not matter as much as searchability. I'm not saying that ranking doesn't matter. Of course it matters. But searchability is so much more important. People get fixated on their ranking, and they're not paying enough attention to all of the things that they could do to increase their findability, their searchability. If I'm looking for books on dinosaur eggs. If I'm, fascinated with, the fact that, what if I'm researching for a book that I'm working on, and I want to discuss whether or not, or I want to look into books that discuss whether or not dinosaurs actually really laid eggs. And if you're, the premier expert on dinosaur lore, it doesn't matter where your book is ranked as much as it matters that when someone types in dinosaur, expert, that your book and your name rises to the top of the Amazon search engine. Amazon.com is a search engine that is second only to Google. It is the second largest, most powerful search engine in the world. It uses more algorithms than any other than Google, than any other search engine other than Google. And getting familiar with how Amazon works and how your book can rise to be in the top 10 when you type in certain keywords, or how you can be on the front page when you type in a certain author. This is key. And one of the first things that you need to understand is how to work with keywords. Working with keywords is one of the easiest and one of the most powerful ways that you can get your book up the lists. And what it is, and at this point, is that what you need to do is you can put your keywords into 3 or 4 different places. You can, when you go in through CreateSpace or Amazon Advantage, when you upload your book, they're going to ask you to put in up to 7 keywords. They're going to ask you for, if it's fiction, they're going to ask you, perhaps use the genre as a keyword, the setting. Let's say people are really into military thrillers. Well, then you want to type in the phrase military thriller. Keywords don't have to be one word. They could actually be a phrase. Best-selling author can be a keyword. Best-selling book on writing can be a keyword. That's a key phrase. You can use phrases. You can use things such as tone. If I love historical fiction and I'm on a historical fiction kick, and I've read, 10 books in the Tudor dynasty, maybe you want to use the phrase Tudor dynasty. Maybe you want to get specific, you want to get wide, but I would recommend that every couple of weeks or so, every 3 or 4 weeks, that you go back in and you tweak them. You see what's working, see what your competition is using. When I say see what your competition is using, I don't mean to use their names. But a second way that you can feed keywords into your searchability is in your book description and your author bio. We just talked about that. So if Judith Briles wrote a review of my book and said, Amy, this book is total trash. Judith Briles wrote a review that said, Amy, this book is total trash. It's one of the worst books I ever read. It's amazing that you even managed to, get this out without being arrested. I could, if I wanted to, and I would, I'll be frank, write in my book description, in quotes, the word amazing - Judith Briles, because that's what he said. She called my book amazing. And I want Judith's name in my editorial reviews or in my description. I might even, put it in my author bio, works with Judith Briles, because Judith is an extremely popular coach. She's the book shepherd. Her books, she has dozens of books. I got 3. Now, I'm not saying to do this. I'm using Judith because she's a friend and she's on the line, and I know she'll forgive me for using her as an example, but I could and I would do that. And I would suggest that all of you do that. I want you to go start getting endorsements from other authors like you. And I want you to start immediately when you get those endorsements. I want you to start going into your author description or going into your book description or even going into the keywords themselves and putting those endorsement givers' names in your description with a little blurb about what they said. When someone's looking up Judith Briles' books, I want mine to rise with hers. I want people to see that I have a book as well on a similar subject. She's such a popular person. A lot of people are going to be searching for her. Sean Flynn is on the line. Sean has written a book, this book, the Kitty book. It's a wonderful book, but he actually modeled the look and feel of his book after a best-selling book that on a similar topic. Sean, if I were you, I would go find that author's name. I know you know it. I just don't at the moment. I would find his title, and I would write into my description something along the lines of, somewhere in the second paragraph or two, a huge fan of Jamin Markison's, whatever the author's name is, the author of Catch You Can, comma, Sean Flynn wrote this book after reading blah, blah, blah. I mean, make it make sense. Again, you don't want to stuff with keywords, but use your brain. Figure out creative ways to get your keywords in and out of your description and of your author description. Now, someone is asking, how do you add if people bought this, they bought that? Well, we're about to cover that right now. We're about to cover that at the moment. Now, Sean just typed in, how about in the spirit of James Bowen, a street cat named Bob? Exactly. Sean just nailed it. In the spirit of James Bowen's A Street Cat Named Bob. That's a great way to put some keywords in. Don't go nuts. Don't be sleazy about it. Show some integrity. But Sean really did echo, and his book is almost an homage to A Street Cat Named Bob. It's a good apples to apples comparison. If your book is a good apples to apples comparison, you should have no problem fitting those words into your keywords. Now, there's other ways that books can be found. Sean just asked one of them. If people bought this, they also bought that. Let's talk about how that happens. Shopping in wish lists, shopping carts. When I go to Amazon.com and I buy Joan Stewart's book, and I buy Joel Friedlander's book, and I buy my book. So Joan Stewart's book, Joel Friedlander's book, and my book. And I put them in my shopping cart, and then I go ahead and buy them. If a few more people do that, let's say my mother, and let's say, my assistant and my cousin and that guy from down the street that owes me $20. And if a couple people go in and they buy Joan's book and Joel's book and my book all at the same time, very quickly on my Amazon page, you will see people who bought the right way also bought the following book by Joel Friedlander and the following book by Joan Stewart. And if you go to Joel Friedlander's page, which there's a really good chance they will because he's so famous, eventually you will see, if enough people buy my book with his, people who bought Joel's book, blah, 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 also bought Amy Collins's book the right way. This is one of the ways to make that happen. You can also get Amazon to connect your book with other books through wish lists. And the way to get into a wish list and create a wish list is super easy. You can actually click on a button underneath the add to cart at any moment to add to a wish list, or you can actually create your own wish lists together. I've given you the URL right here, amazon.com/gp/registry/wishlist. But creating a wish list that has your book in connection with all the best-selling books in your genre. Tammy, there's a number of books, and I know you've done your research. I know you've done, and you know who the best-selling authors are in your genre. Perhaps you want to create a wish list where it's your book plus 3 or 4 of the other authors, and you want to publish that wish list in public. My favorite books on Einstein, or it could be a number of things, but create a bunch of wish lists. Don't be shy. There are ways to link to other books. And the way to link to other books at this point, very much like Sean was asking, is you can do that. You can purchase keywords under their name, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's actually a marketing department now called AMS, Amazon Marketing Services, that will allow you to link to other books and connect. It used to be back in the day, it was about $1,500. You could buy something called Buy X, Get Y. Well, I'm afraid that doesn't exist anymore. But these shopping carts and these wish lists are one way, but the other way to link to other books can be with some of those keywords that we talked about, but also you can promote through AMS, which we're going to cover in just a moment. And finally, the easiest and best way, well, it's not finally in terms of this page, but one of the things that I really want to land on is that at the moment, the magic number seems to be 85 or more. You guys need to go get a lot of Amazon reviews for your book. If you want to show up on the front page of a search on Amazon, one of the easiest ways that you can rise to the top is to go after Amazon reviews. And I told you that I would talk about Amazon's rules about reviews and how we were going to make sure that we don't get flagged. And I will do that just in the very next page. But Amazon reviews, the rule of thumb, this is a list of the ways your book can be found. You're going to want to go after Amazon reviewers right now. So how does Amazon decide on ranking? How does Amazon decide that your book is going to be 8,000 out of the 2 million books in your genre? How does Amazon, why is it that one day you're at 167,000 and the next day you're at 53,000? What the heck happened? Did one person buy the book? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how Amazon figures it out. And so the first question that a lot of people ask me is, do sales really matter on a given day? If, I had 20 people buy my book on the 13th, and I never got, my ranking never really spiked up as high as I thought it could. Well, that's because in the last 2 months, since the end of February, Amazon has made some strong and very strident changes on how they review ranking. And we're going to go through that right now. This is something you need to keep in mind. It used to be, even 6-8 months ago, that if you got 30 people to buy your book on a given Thursday, your book could rocket up to number 1 in your category. And that, depending on how narrow your topic is, that may still be possible. But Amazon has made it far more difficult. And this is how they figure out ranking now. They will take a look at your last 30 days of sales. So what you need, and if your book is just launching, it doesn't matter. They will take a look at the last 30 days of sales. They will add all of your sales in the last 30 days. So let's say that I had no sales for 29 days, and then all of a sudden 20 people bought my book on the 30th day. They will look at the last 30 days. They will divide my sales by 30 days, and they will decide on my ranking that way. They have completely mitigated and pushed down and ameliorated, I think is also the word I'm looking for. They've subsumed all the big words I can think of. They have smushed the importance of one given sales spike because they are suspicious of one sales spike on one given day as being manipulative. So what I have learned a lot just since February when they made this change, what is far more important, and this is new, but what I strongly recommend to you guys is what you want is what Adam Hoagie calls the trickle effect. What you want is a couple of sales a day or a lot of sales a day over 30 days. Your ranking at that point, if on day 1 you sell 2 books and on day 2 you sell 3 books, on day 5 you sell 2 books, but if you're selling books consistently for 30 days and then you have a large spike on the 28th day or on the 30th day, you will skyrocket to the top of the search engine that is Amazon.com, and your ranking will go through the roof. Sales do matter on a given day, but only if you've been selling in a trickle fashion over the course of 30 days. And if you want to keep on the top of the search engines, that trickle effect needs to stay in effect. So how do you keep at the top of these search pages? How do you become and stay in the first page or two on these search engines? Well, one of the things is keywords. Once you actually can get up into the first page or two, and it happens by trickling your sales in over the course of a month, you can stay there in many cases by making sure that your keywords are as prime and don't get lazy. Go in, constantly look at what your competition, what words they're seeding into their description. Take a look at what Random House is doing and go back and change your keywords, change your description, mix it up. Make sure that you are reflecting what other people are looking for right now. Your description may have been perfectly adequate 8 months ago, but if you haven't changed it in those 8 months, I promise you, other books have skyrocketed and leapfrogged above you. Pay attention to those trickle sales. That's another way, because other people cannot overcome you. They cannot jump over you and get your space unless they are also selling consistently over the course of 30 days. So pay attention to that. And again, reviews. I told you that we would be covering reviews and how reviews work in the next slide, and that's what I'm doing right now. But before I do, are there any questions? Did that make sense to everyone? Do you understand what I mean when I say that Amazon has changed how they do ranking, in that it's more important that you have sales over a 30-day period, or else your one-day spike will, in many cases, be sucked down as though in quicksand. Did that make sense to you guys? Are there any questions? All right. All right. Okay. So let's move back to my promise that we're going to talk about reviews. There's a couple of different ways that you can get reviews on Amazon. And I'm going to, again, we're going to talk a little bit here about reviews. I want to start by showing you, do you see right here where it says verified purchase? You see that I just circled it? A book that is being reviewed by someone who actually purchased it from Amazon is one of the premier ways, and all of the keywords that are in there. This wonderful, A Man Called Ove is the name of the book. You will notice that this Colleen Messina, I love this example, but Colleen Messina wrote, this is a sweet, sweet book. The author, Frederick Backman, has a fun writing style, leaves you knowing and loving his characters, a story about transformation. I was moved to tears. A man called Ove discovers a new way of relating his life, blah, blah, blah. The kind of transformation reminds me of another book I really enjoyed. This kind of transformation reminds me of another book I really enjoyed, Practical Enlightenment by Ariel and Shia Kane. What do you want to bet that Colleen Messina either knows the authors, Ariel and Shia Kane, or was asked by the author of A Man Called Ove? But do you think that that's a coincidence, that this review is actually highlighting another best-selling book? Now, I know that Ove eventually became a best-selling book, but this is a wonderful way. When you guys were asking a minute ago, how do you use reviews? How do you link? Well, some of the people who write reviews for you, perhaps they can link your book with other books in their reviews. So what makes this book very, very key, and this review very key, is that it's this verified purchase right here. That is so important. So let's say that you or a friend or somebody has decided that you're going to reach out to some people and they're going to buy your book and they're going to review it on Amazon. You ask your college roommate, you ask that weird guy down the street who owes you $20, you ask your sister who's married and does not share the same last name as you. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense for 20 Collins. I got dozens of cousins. I've come from a huge family. Having 23 Collinses review my book, not helpful. Make sure that you mix up the names. Get them to put other best-selling books in their review, and then you and all your friends, and this is one of the things I definitely wanted to make sure that we pointed out, make sure that you mark, is this review helpful to you? Yes, it is. Yes, this review is helpful to you, if it's a review you like. And if it's a bad review, you and all your friends should go online and type in no. No, it is not helpful. So this is one of the things that is important to understand, that a verified purchase review has more weight than somebody reviewing your book who did not buy it on Amazon. There's also Vine reviews right here. You guys see that I'm, oh, sorry, I didn't underline it. Now I'm going to underline it. Vine reviews, the Vine review program is a program that is handled and completely managed by Amazon.com. They invite top reviewers into their Vine program. These are reviewers that have been vetted and who have agreed, they've signed a code of conduct that they will not review something in exchange for any sort of compensation. Yes, they can get a free copy of the book. Any reviewer on Amazon can still receive a reader's copy of your book. It doesn't even have to be an advanced reader's copy. Readers' copies of books are an accepted practice in our industry. And while Amazon has put their foot down and said, no, you cannot send an iPhone to someone in exchange for a good review. No, you can't send baby formula or roller skates or any of it, lamps. None of the books are still allowed to be sent in exchange for an honest review. So you can send it to Vine reviewers. You can send it to other reviewers on Amazon. And I would recommend, remember I said 85 was the sweet number. This is one of the things that really helps drive your ranking to the top, is making sure that you have dozens and dozens and dozens of reviews. It's not okay to have 14 or 15 reviews. Well, it is. I mean, we all start someplace. If you go look at The Right Way right now on Amazon, I only have about 15 reviews. Why? Because unfortunately, the cobbler's children does not actually ever get to wear shoes, apparently. I'm so busy helping other people with theirs, I haven't actually managed to work on mine, which is embarrassing. So it is okay to have 15. At any given moment, though, you can commit to changing that. You can commit to going after, and 6 months from now, you could have 100 reviews on your book. It is very easy to do. Simply look at your competition, see who reviewed those books, and contact them. 9 times out of 10, their website or their emails right there on their review page, and ask them if they'd like to review your book. Going after reviews is key. I hope this makes sense. How to get reviews is a whole nother, it's a whole class I could teach in and of itself. But I did want to make sure that let's see, let me stop formatting now. Go back to the mouse. And so now that you kind of understand a little bit more about how reviews can be used and how important they are, but also how you can seed it with keywords and with your competition, and making sure that if someone's typing in Ariel and Shia Kane, your book will show up too. All right, so I am going to have to erase. Forgive me, I'm going to erase these little marks here, and we're going to talk about marketing opportunities through Amazon. Now, I told you a little bit about Amazon Marketing Services, ams.amazon.com. Before I continue, is there any other questions about reviews? Is there anything I can help you guys with before I move on? Just go to the chat box and type in. All right. Well, if you do have questions, just go to the chat box and type it in. If you're listening to this on a replay, feel free to email me at info@newshelves.com. You'll see right there, my logo's right there, New Shelves. info@newshelves.com. If you're listening on a replay, I'd be happy to answer your questions. So, moving on to marketing opportunities through AMS. A year ago, May, so almost a year ago in total, but May 2016, Amazon, for the first time in 7 years, opened up the ability for small presses and self-published authors like you and me. If we had a KDP account or an Amazon Advantage account, we would be allowed to purchase different marketing opportunities through AMS. Some of those opportunities at this point are sponsored products, headline search ads, and product display ads. So we're going to take a look right now, and we're going to take a quick look at what a sponsored product did versus headline search versus product display ads. A sponsored product, let's say it's one of Judith's books. Tammy Grace is saying she's not sure if I know, but there's a dark square in the middle of the screen, a big block blocking your space. I don't know what that would be. Is it still there, guys? A big black box just suddenly showed up blocking your screen? Well, that's so weird. All right, well, let me go back and see if, is it gone now? A big, well, I don't know what that is. I am so sorry. I don't see it. I'm not sure what the big black box is, but I promise that what I'm about to tell you, you don't actually need to see anything. So let's just take a moment, and I will verbally give you a rundown of what sponsored products are. That is so weird. Is it still there now? You guys are being very patient with me. You should see a box that says questions. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what it is. I am sure it won't be there in the replay. I am recording the screen, and I promise I will send you a link to the replay that won't have it. But at the moment, what we have is 3 different opportunities that you might want to consider. There's the sponsored product where you pick easily 100 keywords or more. What you want to do is you want to go nuts. If it was Tammy's book, I'd want fiction and adventure and Einstein and metaphysic and a whole bunch of, but I would pick 100 keywords or more. And what you do is you set a click per dollar amount. So let's say she's going to say that for everyone who buys her book, if they click on these keywords and actually go through to her page and actually buy her book, she will give Amazon 50 cents per click. So what she does is rarely does she have to pay the full 50 cents, because you only pay a penny or two if they click on your keyword, another penny or two if they actually click on your page and start, if they put you in a shopping cart, you're maybe up to 10 cents. You don't pay the full amount of whatever it is you bid until they actually buy. So for less than a couple of dollars a day, you can strongly strengthen your position on a page, because where sponsored products come in is you flow into the list of books. If I type in Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Green Gables and a whole page, 10 pages of Anne of Green Gables books show up, but I've written a novel called Return to Anne of Green Gables. It's fan fiction. It's an ebook. I can go in through KDP. I can buy all the same keywords that I see peppered all over the Anne of Green Gables pages. And I can set a high, maybe even $1 a book, a high bid for anyone who buys my book. And when someone types in the keyword Anne of Green Gables, or they type in Canadian authors, or I wish I'd read Anne of Green Gables a little more frequently, or I'd have other keywords to use right now, and my book shows up in the search engine, shows up in the list of books, and it's on the first page, and people are interested, then all that's gold. I mean, you were literally buying your way up the list higher, and that's what a sponsored product is. It's purchasing your way higher on the search engines and higher in the listings for any particular keyword or set of keywords. A headline. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got a question here from Judith. Oh, no, it's not a question. She's saying, when it comes to Amazon Central, do a revisit on her page. Oh, she's done some updates since Amy did a screenshot of the page. You know what, Judith? We're going to take a look at that. That's amazing. And Judith, I apologize for using an old screenshot. I'm going to make sure I grab a new screenshot before I go to the Oklahoma Writers Conference next week, which I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys at. So there's also headline search ads. Headline search ads is you actually you bid in, let's say on a particular keyword. Let's say you've written a thriller novel, and so you purchase a number of titles that Vince Flynn wrote, and or Jack Reacher novels, and you buy all these keywords as people are typing in. If you purchase a headline search ad, what'll happen is that your book, depending on how many people bought the Jack Reacher keyword that week, your book will show up on a rotating basis, not in the sponsored products, not in the list, but it will show up on top of the page. It will actually show up. And I'm very sorry that you guys can only see a black box right now, because at the moment, I'm trying to show you, and for those of you who aren't seeing the black box, I will take care of this now. But what you're going to see is right here at the top of Amazon's page, you will see the headline of your book and a copy of your cover. And finally, there's the product display ads. You guys remember when you're on Amazon.com and you're searching for bug screens and Carter socks and mixed nuts, I don't know, whatever you guys are searching for on Amazon, but you will see similar products listed down the side, and you will see them at the bottom of the page. Product display ads are things that you can, for very little money, I mean, literally for dollars a day, $1 or $2 a day, it does not take a lot. You can have your book, if you've written the most amazing nut cookbook in the world, 400 desserts that you can make with nuts, and it's paleo friendly. I think they eat nuts. I'm not sure. I don't do paleo. And you want to connect to different diets or even just different nut searches, you can have your cookbook, whether it's connected or not thematically, show up when people look at other products. So Judith Briles comes out with a brand new book next month. If I was a jerk, and I'm not, but if I was a jerk who didn't care what she thought, I could actually purchase a product display ad on her page. I could actually look up her book and put my book down the side or at the bottom, and I could actually pay Amazon that for every time someone looks up Judith's new book, they see my book on the side or they see my book on the bottom. Different prices depending on where you land. So I would ask you that you go to ams.amazon.com. I strongly suggest if you've got a KDP account, you go to ams.amazon.com or an Amazon Advantage account and just play around with, take $10 over a 3-day period and create a sponsored product ad or a headline search ad. And for those of you who have a real apples to apples comparison, go right ahead, go for broke and create a product display ad. These 3 options have always made a great return on my investment. Sponsored product is my favorite. Sponsored product has always made me back the money that I have put in on about a 4-to-1 ratio. Every time I've promoted my book as a sponsored product, I make 4 times more money than I actually invest. That has been my experience. I've done it a dozen times. Things go really well. I pretty much break even on the product display ads, and I make a little money on headline search ads. But my book is not perfectly suited for product display ads the way a cookbook would be, or a how to take care of a puppy book, or there's other topics that they're slightly better suited for. And if someone wants to buy a product display ad when, let's say, I'm out there looking for puppy food and or if I'm typing in Royal Canin urinary tract dog food, prescription food, and then all of a sudden my book on how to help dogs heal from urinary tract infections, believe it or not, this is a thing. You'd sell a lot of books. The more niche you are, the more you should probably lean towards product display ads. But for those of you who have written novels or general how-to, self-help, and inspirational books, I would stick more with a sponsored product, just in my humble opinion. All right, someone is asking, why not go live to AMS and how them? Well, I'd be happy to go live to AMS and show you exactly how this works. I'll go to my AMS account real quick. That's a good idea, Judith. I like it. So hold on one second. We'll go there. I'll share my screen. I'm sorry, those of you who are still seeing a big black box, but I'm going to ask, now that I'm on Amazon, is the big black box gone? Hopefully, maybe. AMS. The box is gone. That's wonderful. So here I am going to ams.amazon.com. And ooh, if you've never signed up for Amazon Marketing, they're offering $100 in free clicks. That's new. All right, I'm going to sign in here. All right. And I'm going to sign in. And hopefully my password is already saved. It is. That's wonderful. All right. So what I'm going to do, I hope you can follow this. I'm going to create a new campaign. I'll do one right now. Well, I'll start one. What the heck? And I want to do a campaign of sponsored products. So I'm going, because I know that I'm going to make 4 times the money back. I'm going to do sponsored products right now. And I don't even have to just do my book. I can do someone else's. Let's take a look at Judith's books. Searching the larger Amazon catalog. Let's take a look at okay, so author use, sabotage, crowdfunding. Now, Snappy, I love this book, Snappy, Sassy, Salty. This is one of my favorites. So I want to do an ad for Snappy, Sassy, and Salty. And I want to do, I'm also going to do her Author You book. I'm going to take these 2. And I'm going to set an average daily budget, even $5 a day. That's what I'm going to do, $5 per day. And I'm going to run the campaign continuously. Now, you've got 2 choices here. So you guys see, I can either do automatic targeting. This allows Amazon to decide on your keywords and the best books and the best search words to go after. Why not try automatic targeting just for a couple days and see what happens to your sale? If you're going to choose automatic targeting, they're suggesting that you give 25 cents click bid. So every time someone clicks on, let's say they type in a keyword, words that have been chosen by Amazon, if somebody clicks on Snappy, Sassy, Salty and actually puts it in their shopping cart and buys it, I will pay 25 cents. That's how that works. If they simply click on Snappy, Sassy, Salty and don't do anything with it, I'll probably pay 2 cents. But that's how it works. So we're going to do an automatic campaign and we're going to do a manual one so you can see how it works. It's as simple as that, guys. Starting today, my average daily budget at $5, I just started advertising Judith's 2 books. Judith, I hope it goes well. Let me know how your sales work. Let's do another campaign. Let's say that I go after my own book. Okay, give it a second to catch up. And I'm going to want to go after headline search. Headline search at this point is going to be that my book will show up. My book will show up at the top of the search engine instead of showing up in the middle. All right, so look at that. My book's right on top. So I'm gonna add that. I clicked on add. Select at least 3 products from the left, and the top 3 will appear in your ad. All right, so I'm going to do the right way. I'm going to do real fast writing. I forgot I needed to pick 3 books for this. Real fast writing. And that's another one I'm picking. And I'm going to, again, I'll pick another one of Judith's books because she's awesome. And let's take a look. A real good comparison to, all right. Let's see. We've got a book on writing. We've got a book on publishing and on marketing it. So let's do one of Judith's books on actually this crowdfunding book. Perfect. Crowdfunding will be here. We got 3 books, all by some top-selling authors in the same genre, and you're going to at this point set a budget of let's say $5 a day. Select a date range. Then what you do is you start putting in keywords. So I'm going to put in self-publishing. I'm going to spell it correctly. It's you'll see that self-publishing gets medium traffic. They'll actually tell you. Do you guys see down here at the bottom that self-publishing gets medium traffic, but self-publishing with Amazon or self-published gets low traffic? They'll tell you. So I want some high traffic words. Best selling, let's see, best selling books, very high traffic. So what you're going to do is you're going to add in, boy, I would say at least, I like to put in at least 100. If you want to put these keywords together, you can actually put them in an Excel spreadsheet and just upload them. You see right here where it says upload spreadsheet. But this is how you create a headline. So I hope that makes sense, guys. This is how you go about getting your ads. And let me start with a sponsored product too. I wanted to show you as well. If you decide to because I love the sponsored products, as I said, if you decide that you want your book showing up in the flow of best-selling books when keywords go in, you simply add your name to your book. And again, let's say $2 a day. Let's say you don't have $5 a day. Let's say you want to do this for 5 days. I'm going to start it tomorrow and I'm going to end it May 3rd. $5 is too much. I only want to spend $10 total. There's $2 a day right there. I'm going to say manual targeting this time. Add suggested keywords. Right here. They're suggesting keywords for me. Some of the words that they're suggesting is business reference guide. No. Writing. Okay, I'll add that one. Books about these are awful. These are not a good these are not good suggested keywords. Publishing industry. Sure, I'll grab one of those. But what I'm doing is I really want to add my own keywords. And so at this point, I would be going nuts. And I'll add 100 or more books. Again, if I type in self-publishing here within a second and then hit enter, and then I'm going to type in finding an agent. And just keep adding them. Just keep adding them. And then you launch a campaign. I'm going to save this as a draft and come back to it. But I hope that makes sense to you guys. Judith, that was a really good suggestion. Thank you for suggesting that. Let's go back to my presentation. I'm almost done, guys. You guys are being so patient with me. I hope the big black box does not show up. So we covered how to make your page look great. We covered Author Central. We covered why keywords are so important. We covered how important it is to get 85 or more reviews and what you can do with those reviews to drive sales. We've covered Amazon marketing options. We've explained in detail how ranking works. This is a lot of what I know about Amazon in the last hour. And I hope that you guys have found this helpful. I hope that those of you who are watching this on a replay, if you have any questions, that you'll reach out to me at amy@newshelves.com. There's my email right there. My website, my Twitter feed, my Facebook page, it's all right there. And I really am grateful to those of you who are on Publishing at Sea. Publishing at Sea is my favorite week of the whole year. We're doing it at the end of January again this year. Publishingatsea.com. Publishingatsea.com is the website. If you want to know more about spending 8 days in the Caribbean with Judith and Joan and I and several other people, we have a great time together. And for those of you who are on the cruise last year and whom this presentation got cut short, I'm so grateful for your patience, and I'm glad that you were watching today. And I am going to put this up on YouTube as a replay. I'm going to edit it a little bit so for smoothness and make sure there's no big black boxes anywhere. And I really look forward to seeing you all at my next webinar, which I do about one a week. Please make sure that you're on my website and that you join my mailing letter on my website at newshelves.com, because that way you get up-to-date information on all the free classes I teach. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you all at Author U, on newshelves.com, and at Publishing at Sea.